Hello, my name is Anna Poor, and I am the Technical Services Librarian at the Union University Library. Welcome to the tutorial, Getting a Grip on Your Literature Review Part 2, Putting It All Together. Let's start by thinking about your literature review. What is your department and topic? What is your end product? What are the expectations of your department? How far are you along in the process? Depending on where you are in the process, you might want to try some of these tips today, so feel free to pause the presentation at any time. In this presentation, we'll talk about the purpose of the literature review and avoiding plagiarism. After that, there will be some tips on organizing and synthesizing sources. Next, we will look at examples of completed literature reviews, and then you can work on your literature review. A literature review has several educational purposes for students. When you go in depth about a topic, it gives you the opportunity to explore available literature on the topic, learn how to read scholarly articles in your field, and develop a deeper understanding of theory and method. It also makes you demonstrate that you have the ability to write and research in your chosen field, and helps to justify and sometimes modify your choice of research question. For a person reading your literature review, the literature review should explain the context and significance of your research topic, provide an overview of the issues, establish what work has already been done, summarize and synthesize previous research, demonstrate your relationships among previous research, and identify gaps in the literature. Before we go any further, we need to talk about plagiarism. Especially with the ability to copy and paste easily from digital sources, students often plagiarize unintentionally. Plagiarism is the act of using another person's words or ideas without giving credit to that person, and that definition is taken from Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Union University takes plagiarism seriously, as you can see by their statement. While I hope you would never plagiarize intentionally, there are some precautions you can take to not unintentionally plagiarize. First, keep records of where all your information came from. If you copy a quote, make sure you note the source and page number where you found it. Second, when you find a useful source, print it and put it in a folder, or if you want to save paper, save a PDF to a folder on your computer. Third, it is possible to self-plagiarize. It is better to not recycle material, but if you do, make sure you are giving yourself credit for the previous work. Finally, using a citation management system like RefWorks can help you keep track of your sources and use correct citation styles. Do you have a RefWorks account set up? If not, you can set up a RefWorks account by going to the library homepage and clicking on RefWorks. The tutorial, Getting a Grip on Your Literature Review Part 1, covers setting up a RefWorks account in more detail. The important thing is to have a system. Some people are old school and use note cards, highlighters, and sticky notes, and print everything off. Others like to keep everything digital, save it to a folder on their desktop, and type all their notes. Other people use a combination. Whatever system works best for you is what you should use. Your note-taking system should include a way of keeping track of your sources and use folders of some sort. You also need to be sure to include citation information, findings, methodology, and how it connects to your research. When reading an article, keep these questions in your mind. What were the research aims and objectives? What were the outcomes of the research? What approaches, methods, or strategies were used? In what context was the research conducted? What was its contribution to the field? Does it have any connection to my research question? Depending on your field, you might have other questions that you would include. There are several ways to organize your notes. One way is in a table. Here is an example of a simple 2-column table that has the citation on the left and a short summary of findings on the right. This is another example that is more detailed. Like I said, the important thing is finding a system that works for you that records the information you want. Now that you have all of your sources, how do you synthesize the literature? Rather than giving equal time to all the sources, you should use the sources to provide background information. The example on the left shows how not to do a literature review. In the left example, each article gets a paragraph. In the right example, articles are tied together with a common theme, and some articles are used more than once. The example on the right side is much better. You can also think of your literature review as a funnel. You start with a big picture overview of the topic, for example, bullying in schools. In this section, you provide a broad overview of bullying in schools. Then narrow to your specific topic, for example, bullying prevention measures. Finally, concentrate on your particular contribution, say, the effect of peer mediation on bullying prevention. When putting together your literature review, look for these things in particular. Historical context. The source provides historical background, major theory, or groundbreaking work. Different approaches. What approaches have been used to examine this question, and how is your approach different? Trends and themes. This refers to results that have been found across multiple studies. Reporting practical significance. How does this actually apply to real life? Reconciling conflicting theories. When different explanations have been found, you may have found an explanation of why. Inconsistent findings. Different results have been found, but you hope to find why. Gaps in the literature. Certain things have not been explored. Continuing lines of inquiry. You will investigate why any of these things are the case. Remember, you don't have to include everything. Not everything will fit, and that is okay. Now let's look at some examples. On the second floor of the library, we have printed copies of theses and dissertations that previous union students have written. If you are on the Jackson campus, I highly recommend browsing them at some point. You can also access dissertations and theses through the database ProQuest Dissertations and Theses Global. The fastest way to access this database is to go to the library homepage, www.uu.edu/library, and click on the Databases, eBooks, and Media link. The databases are listed in alphabetical order. Scroll down to ProQuest Dissertations and Theses Global and click on the link. Type in the subject that you want to search for and press Enter. Lots of dissertations come up. If you are interested in seeing what was done at Union, you can type Union University in quotations. This will bring up anything with that phrase anywhere in the text, so go to the side and limit to Union University. There are 315 dissertations from Union. And you can also narrow by subject. Find a dissertation to examine and look at the literature review section. Given what you've learned in this presentation, what did they do well? What can they do better? Now it is time for you to work on your literature review and apply what you learned in this presentation.